Good morning. Thank you for your patience, particularly those who have hopped on early and are hearing the first part of this again. My name is Tammy Nelson. I'm the Deputy State Controller leading the reporting side of the SLFRF effort. Get a handful to spit that out. We're going to talk about just a couple of things, and then we're just going to open it up for questions. We're going to talk about available training and updates, the due dates, and the performance template format. So in terms of training, we have a number of different trainings on our website. There's training from last quarter. There's 2 financial trainings. One is a state agency training, and then there's also a higher ed specific training. And I see on the slide right now, it says 1210, but the higher ed is actually 1216, but it's labeled higher ed on our website. And there is also an on-demand performance metric training from last quarter that is kind of an overview of some of the elements around eligibility and things like that, or performance-based outcomes. And then the last video is the new video. It's the on-demand updates, tips, and tricks for successful reporting. It's both financial and performance, and it adds on the new and different things from last quarter. So all of these videos are intended to be viewed together. So if you reported last quarter, you just need to look at the updates. But if this is the first quarter that you're reporting, you're going to want to look at all of those videos together. And then I'm going to highlight a few of the updates. They're included in those videos, but I wanted to mention them just to be sure you're all aware. So the reporting and compliance guidance was updated on February 28th, so not that long ago. It changed expenditure categories, it re-crosswalked numbers, it added categories, quite extensive changes. The process has been going on currently over the past few weeks to reevaluate and look at what that means for your existing projects. We tried to get most of that.
I know of, yeah. I'm trying to listen to a webinar on my.
So the process to evaluate those has been ongoing. We tried to get most of that wrapped up by the 31st so that the core reports reflect the correct project numbers. So to the extent you have not heard otherwise from your reporting specialist, we did get those updates in and worked all of those changes through the governor's office, the ROs, our teams in conjunction with you all. The one thing that is still outstanding that we are still in the process of trying to figure out with the U.S. Treasury is what do we do about last quarter? We have projects that are in a category that just don't exist that we already reported on, and we're not sure exactly yet what to do about those. We know what was reported last quarter, so to the extent we can just handle that administratively, if we find that we have to, back that out, re-put that in, we certainly can do that. If we have to split things, we may have to come back to you. So just a warning that we're not sure what that piece looks like, but hopefully we can handle most of it internally within the OSC. Another change this quarter is for revenue replacement projects. We're asking you to put totals on the financial activity workbooks like you would for your aggregates. So for those of you that have revenue replacement, we just went into court and got that in the prior quarter because there wasn't many. As that group expands, we're just going to ask you to put that on the financial templates. And then another thing we added to the financial templates, it was suggested in the prior trainings, but we actually added it as part of the template itself, is the reconciliation to core, as well as the reconciliation to what has been reported to the governor's office. So those are some of the key updates. The due dates are for the financial templates, April 8th, and that includes for the financial templates, there's actually 2 workbooks. There's the financial activity template, which is actually your activity, it's your grants, your contracts, your expenditures. And there's also the subrecipient vendor workbook. So that is who you paid. So if you're paying somebody new that you didn't pay last quarter, whether it's a grant or contract, it doesn't matter in what capacity, you'll have to also fill out that subrecipient vendor workbook. And just a reminder, there's a lot of templates out there, so as to not get confused, there was also grant templates that were just updated for subawards. That's Exhibit F. Those Exhibit Fs are not part of the reporting package to us. That's information from your subgrantees to you to fill out the financial or not the financial, but the performance template. So just a reminder that those subaward templates for the Exhibit F are not part of the reporting package to us. And then the performance templates are due April 18th to our office. These templates are on our website. I've provided the address up there, and they're under the state agency IHE quarterly reporting menu bar. Like last quarter, they're Excel workbooks that you'll submit to the SLFRF mailbox. And then some updates around the performance metrics template. So information for the performance metrics are being gathered in a couple of different ways. So your recovery officers submitted eligibility documents. This was around the third week in March to the governor's office that included all kinds of information about your projects. The name, the description, what amount was related to capital expenditures, what communities it impacted, disproportionately impacted or impacted, all of those details around your project. And that's a lot of the information we have to report around performance as sort of that static set of information about your project. So eligibility documents is one place that we're getting that information, and those were already submitted or are in the process of being reviewed. And then the other thing is, if that is not a static piece of information kind of that goes with the project, that is ongoing updates as you serve customers, that's what the performance metric template is going to capture, and that's what needs to be submitted on the 18th. So this template was built on the existing, it was the expenditure category change workbook that the compliance team put together, which is a complete list of every reporting requirement for every expenditure category. So this workbook is one workbook. There's one tab per major category. For example, the public health category is the first category. There's one tab for public health. There's a second tab for negative economic impacts. So that's how the workbook is laid out. And we've added to that, the workbook that was there, we've added the source of where the information is coming from. So if the requirement, is around what's the project and description, well, the eligibility document is where that's coming from. So there's the data source on that template. And then it also highlights it's not collected anywhere else. It's being collected by the department in this template. And those things are highlighted in yellow. So here, I know you probably can't read this, but I think you can get an idea of the layout. I just wanted to show you that for the performance template. This is an example of one sheet of that. It's our one tab. This happens to be the public sector tab, service tab. And this first part, columns A through F, or actually A through E, is the workbook that has already been out and available to you to crosswalk the old expenditure categories to the new and provide that information around what's required related to that. We added column F, which is the data source, which could be the OSC's calculating it. It's part of your eligibility document. It's coming from your financial activity template. So if it's a source that we're collecting it from and have already collected it or will be collecting it, it's grayed out. There's nothing to have to submit, but you can see there's some yellow bars down here related to number of FTE. Those are things you have to submit related to the expenditure category. So you'll just need to go identify your expenditure category. We're going to just use 3.1 for an example. You go to tab 3, go down the list to 3.1, and you can see for 3.1, you have some yellow items to fill out. So across the top, there's like 5 columns. If you have, fill out 1 column per project ID, you may have 1, you may have more. It just depends on your department. You can add columns if you need to. So it is only, it's a big workbook, but it really is only the yellow highlighted items that we are not gathering otherwise that we need you to fill out and submit on the 18th. So with that, we are open for questions.
Hey, this is Jennifer from CDE. I just want to confirm one thing that I was told prior, and I think I understood it correctly, that we subaward, so we're acting as a pass-through. We're subawarding our SLFRF funds to, various districts, the subawardees are considered vendors for that vendor report, correct?
Yes, so if you're
Okay.
subawarding to outside of the state, a school district would be outside of the state. Whether it's just a distribution, a grant, or whatever the form of it is, there's still the person you are paying, and that subrecipient vendor worksheet that gives their name, address, those sorts of things has to
Okay.
be filled out.
And we don't need to go any deeper in terms of, their vendors if they buy, I don't know, a computer or whatever it is.
Nope,
don't
that is
need to
correct.
go
It is the first layer outside of the state, that contracting or grant activity. It's not subsequent beyond that.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, and this might be kind of a misinformed question. My name is Margaret Wood. I'm from the University of Colorado, Denver, and we received COSI Finish What You Started funds. And this is the first time that we're filling in this quarterly report. And we are kind of unclear, like on the performance indicators, and the outcomes and the just like what exactly this is asking for. Like, we were working through CDHE with the application, and now having to fill out this report, it's not absolutely clear what we're supposed to be reporting.
So there are two levels of reporting. There are the quarterly required performance metrics, and then there are additional output based and other metrics that go into the annual report. At this point, we're only collecting the required quarterly elements. So on this worksheet, it would be the things highlighted in yellow for your expenditure category.
So it asks for outcomes and outputs. Where are those defined?
We don't need those reported at this time. The governor's office is defining those and should be communicating those through your recovery officer. And those will be due to the governor's office, I'm expecting, in the first part of July to support the annual report.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure there are more questions. It's not an easy process.
Once they start filling them out, Tammy, I'm sure there will be.
And you're welcome to, as you have questions, as you work through the workbooks, you can email the SLFRF mailbox. You can work directly with your assigned reporting specialist. We're here to help. And if you have questions at all, it's easier to work together on the front end than have to, think we're done and go backwards. So it's not a problem at all to ask questions.
Would you mind dropping that link in the chat box? I'm not sure I know who my actual reporting person is. I just know certain people over there, and they're my go-to. I hope I'm not getting them in trouble.
Kay Yang, I don't know if she's one of your go-tos, but
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Then I'm not getting anyone in trouble.
and that you're not getting in, you know what, you're not getting anyone in trouble anyways. We'll all answer questions and redirect you to the right place. So
Awesome. Thank you.
The link is in the chat for anybody else.
Stacey.
thank you, Stacy.
Oh, for everybody but Angela. I see how it is.
Hi, Tammy. This is Robin at Pueblo Community College.
Hey, Robin.
So yeah, this is, and my grant manager's also on here, but yeah, yeah, this is kind of all overwhelming. I think we have some things that our system office is going to report for us on some of our funds that we got through a House bill and stuff. But I think the major ones, I think that we would be doing ourselves, if you can confirm this or not, are the two cozy. Like Margaret, had to finish what you started and back to work. Those are due the 8th and the 18th.
I was looking to see if we had Trisha Escabel
Oh,
on.
I did see that name. I don't know if she still is. I know I didn't recognize very many higher ed names on here, but I think she must be gone.
I don't think she's on currently, but that is my understanding that those are the two funds that were distributed through DHE to many of the institutions. And then that there is also a separate allocation specifically through House Bill, I think 1264, to the community colleges that are going to, particularly within the community college system, that the community college system office will be gathering the reporting and reporting back to us.
Right. We had a meeting on that yesterday, but that sounds like that they're not on that 8th and 18th schedule. So is that
yes, Laura
Okay.
Speaker at community colleges
Right.
would also be on the 8th and 18th schedule to
Oh.
report that piece of it back to us, along with you all directly at the institutions for the other pieces.
Okay. Okay. And okay, I think where my misunderstanding is, I don't think a lot of the community colleges have expenditures from the third quarter, or before April 1st. So I think she might have some, but we're looking forward as far as the HB 1264. There are I don't know if Paula remembers the continuing the workforce skills money. Anyway, I think
And it may be that there isn't anything to report yet this quarter. If you
I think for us, but I think
you've entered into any contracts or grants, if you've done that prior to the 31st, we would want that reported even if there aren't expenditures yet. So if there are obligations in that time frame, even without expenditures, we would want that information.
Okay, yeah, I think we have possibly a couple pieces of equipment they're looking at, so we'll look and see if that meets the encumbrance guidelines and all that. But
okay.
But yeah, I think our biggest one now is the cozy, and I think there are people on the ground that are doing the cozy administering it. I think are doing pretty good, but I just wanted to double check. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is Paula from PCC. Just to follow up what Robin was asking you, I want to just confirm this reporting applies to both cozy projects, not just finish what you started, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Tammy, I don't know if you saw my chat, but I was wondering if you could point me. I'm looking at the reporting template and I'm not seeing what is the eligibility document as a data source.
So your recovery officer would have submitted that to the governor's office, and it gathers all kinds of information about your project. What makes it eligible under that category? How is it an eligible use? Are you using evidence-based outcomes? That's something that your recovery officer would have submitted to the governor's office.
So do I need to get a copy of that in order to complete this template? Or I guess
no.
Okay.
On this template, if it's grayed out, we already have that information and we'll get it directly from the governor's office for the eligibility document information. And certainly if we have questions, we'll work through the governor's office, your RO, to get those answered to report.
Okay, and then the last question that I had was just with this reporting template. If I am reporting on multiple projects, do I use this template? What would you like me to submit, I guess?
So are you talking about the performance template?
Yes.
So if you have multiple projects, you just list them in those columns to the right.
Okay.
like one column per project.
And only ones that are appropriate to me. So I'm only reporting
Yes.
under the one expenditure category, but I still submit the big template to you.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
uh-huh.
perfect.
And
Thank you.
we'll just scroll through every tab and pick off the pieces.
Perfect. Thank you.
I don't know. In my mind, I think that's a little easier. We had a bunch of last quarter. We had a bunch of different templates.
Yes.
So I don't know. I guess it's a mixed bag. What might be better, but that's what we're doing this time around.
No, that helps. And that makes it more sense because I was like, this is not what I submitted in January. So
No,
thank you.
you're correct. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, well, I'll stay on another couple of minutes just in case there are stragglers, but thank you for your time today. And if you have questions as you're moving along, please just feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. Thank you.